The World Cup is on the horizon. We've all put forward our teams. This is my team today. It changes every single day. We're going to analyse them, and I'm just going to explain why this is such a great team. And there are lots of great teams, as we'll see with yours as well. But what I want everyone to do who's watching right now, as they look at the screen, just tilt your head to the right a little bit, okay? You've now got yourself a lovely 4-4-2, an asymmetric 4-4-2 in my team. Now, there is one little thing that I should have flagged up to our production team, my fault. I would have Bellingham and Rice the other way around. But if I make my way through it, Pickford in goal. There's a few controversial ones here. Dyer, I just think, is in great form, so confident. He's played on the left-hand side as well, and I can't put Maguire in at the moment. He's not playing enough football. I feel like he's sort of starting to bubble up again. They had a good little appearance the other day, but I would go with Dyer. I think he's just been so strong. I've got Shaw or Chilwell. I was okay with either of those, but because of that sort of little switch that I'm doing here, if you think of that three, if you think of that as a back four, Shaw, Dyer, Stones, and Trippier, this allows me to get Trent Alexander-Arnold higher up the pitch, putting in these beautiful crossfield balls, switching the play over to Foden on the left-hand side, who's been killing it for Man City this year. Rice can help cover a little bit on that right-hand side as well. Bellingham, free to bomb on. Shaw is a bit more of a steady left-back than Chilwell, so that's why I've got him there. Sterling is there because, again, with this kind of system and Alexander-Arnold, I feel like Kane needs that little bit of support, and I think that's a thing that Southgate has always liked to do. And I think by having Sterling there, you've got someone who can play out wide, come and get on the ball as well, and also get forward and get past Harry Kane, which with Foden, I don't think you're going to get the same thing. Because again, as I was saying, it's a bit of an asymmetric 4-4-2, as I was saying. But it changes all the time, and I think if you're playing against certain teams, you might want to play a back four and be braver. But if I had to pick one team for the players that I know are fit right now, the concern is Trippier a little bit in terms of his recovery speed, and that's why you want Kyle Walker. But at the moment, we don't know if he's going to be fit. And I just think Trippier is so trusted, and it also really frees up Alexander-Arnold. So although he's there and that can feel a little bit scary, essentially a lot of the time he's going to be playing as a right back. And that is my England 11.
Hey, what a pitch.
Yeah, I have some concerns.
Go for it.
I do like the asymmetric 4-4-2. I feel like you've gone halfway in between a Southgate team,
I have.
your team, and in form, out of form. Because you've gone like Dyer, who's in form, Trippier's in form, but then Sterling's out of form.
Yep.
Trent's out of form. Shaw's in the side now and he's doing well. Which is where I go. That's where you've switched on the Gareth Southgate light bulb and go, what would Gareth do?
Well, I think there is merit in. This is what I mean. I don't think we should be playing three at the back every single game. Mm-hmm. And even with this, it's not really a back three. It's actually a back four. But I think you need to have. Well, you don't need to have it. But there are other countries. Everyone's going to be going on about France and how great they are. They'll play this similar formation so that they can get Mbappe in the team, Benzema in the team, and Griezmann in the team. So you can't get everyone in. And I think there are games where you should play a four at the back, have another player, and have a 10. You're right. I was thinking about what Southgate will do. And if I was having to play a World Cup final tomorrow, this is what I was thinking with this one. If I had to play a World Cup final tomorrow, that's what my team would be. For experience, for it working, and for being sort of conservative enough to stay in the game. Because we don't have the best squad. We've got a great squad. We've got good depth. We haven't got the best squad in the tournament.
Do you worry a little bit about Trent and Sterling? In the sense of like, well, Trent, Sterling, you've got Rice that side, haven't you?
Yeah.
Rather than Bellingham, yeah. But with Trent and Sterling, you've got Trent, obviously, we know how he likes to get forward and not that keen to come backwards. Sterling is similar, that he's not going to be tracking back, maybe like a Saka possibly. And also Sterling, right-footed, playing on the right-hand side. He won't normally, on the left, he comes inside or he hits the byline. On the right-hand side for England, he tends to play really narrow. So then you've got an entire right wing to be covered by Trent.
I think so at times, but actually I still think that Sterling can do that. I don't think he has done that for England, but I think in terms of someone with a low centre of gravity who can dribble with the ball, I think he's amazing. And also if you fancy it, you feel free to swap them round. And again, if it's not working, you want more width, take him off, put Saka on. But I think starting and allowing someone that, because you're not playing a number 10, to have someone to work with Harry Kane, to maybe give him that little bit of space, but also someone who could go beyond and drive diagonally into those central areas, like the goal he scored in that first game against Croatia. That's why I just about went with Sterling. But his form's not great, and Saka is breathing down his neck.
Could you see that back line defending a Benzema, a Griezmann, Mbappe?
That's why you have as many as possible.
That's a back five, really.
And I just think I have to get Trippier in this team. I think he's too good defensively. He's too good with the ball. He's too good.
If Walker's fit, does Trippier play right wing back? Walker plays right centre back. No Trent. Because the asymmetric 4-4-2 that you're playing is to get Trent in.
It's without those other fullbacks. It's then he is a world class player. Let's fit a team around him a little bit. To be honest, I am building a team around him a little bit. Maybe not.
I genuinely think this is a glorious team. I mean, I don't think it's a team that Gareth Southgate will pick, but these players, a lot of them are in form, and I just think this is it. Or considering Chilwell, if he's still fit to go to the World Cup, he is my first choice left back. Even though I know a lot of you would pick Luke Shaw because he's the one that's been playing under Southgate, played in the Euros. But this, to me, is a winning team. Young, in form, and interchangeable players there as well. No,
it's a bit more attacking than mine, isn't it? And I think a lot of people are calling for a back four. So let's start there. You're fine with the back four. And I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's the conservative way. Is a lot of people playing with a back three.
Yeah.
He's saying you're wrong.
Yeah, no, everyone hates it.
Gareth would say it was wrong.
Yeah, he's on that back three. That's what we did. That's what we do. But you got to change it sometimes. And there's a lot of injuries happening before this World Cup as well. But like you said, the more defenders, the merrier.
In midfield, then you've gone Bellingham, Mount, and Rice. Do you feel like? So what I'm thinking is, when England have possession, you've probably got Trippier, Chilwell wide. You've got Stones and White staying central, obviously.
Yeah.
Rice dropping in.
Yeah.
If we get hit on the counter, that's only three at the back. Are you worried a little bit about Mount and Bellingham's ability to drop in? And
no, Bellingham got the dog rate. He can get back. Bellingham can get back. He's quick. He's young. He's pacey. Out of the three of them, that midfield picks itself.
Does it?
Mount goes forward. Bellingham can also go forward, but Bellingham can get back as well. And Rice is there to cover.
I don't dislike it.
I personally do.
Do you?
Go on.
Yeah. You say why you dislike it, and I'll tell you why I like it.
I think England don't have the players, and this is one of my biggest concerns, and why I agree with Southgate playing a back three or a five, is the combination of centre-back and goalkeeper isn't very strong. Pickford's decent for England, and he's having a decent season, but when you come up against the better sides, your goalkeeper and your centre-backs will get exposed. Is Stones and White are comfortable going wide, but then is Rice comfortable dropping in? I don't know how comfortable he is, because then Bellingham's got to hop in or Mount's going to hop in.
Yeah.
I like the front three, but I think for England and the players that we have, for me, that team gets ripped to shreds. And when we played a 4-3-3 against Hungary, we did get ripped to shreds. And they're not good. They're not a good team.
Do you know what? I don't think I'd play that in a World Cup final against Germany, France, Spain, whatever.
What about the opening game?
But the opening game, I think you do. I think you do play a back four. And what I do like about it is, I think Rice does like to cover over to that right-hand side. Trippier you can trust. Mount would have a free role. And Mount is super, super intelligent. And I think that's a front four, isn't it then? And Mount could go play on the left. He could go play in that number 10 role. He could go over to the right. He could create overloads wherever he wanted. And this is a good thing that we have in terms of those options. And again, in terms of two centre-backs, if you're going to play two centre-backs, you better have the ball a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think Ben White and Stones are two players who are really, really good on the ball as well.
And do you know what? Actually, I would possibly swap, even though they were interchange anyway, Saka and Foden around, because as we know, Saka can play left back, left wing back, so he doesn't have to always stay up the pitch. If you're talking, you need a back five type of thing.
No Trent?
No, sorry. No.
Okay.
Would you put Trent in your team?
Oh, we're going to see my team.
Oh.
Let's find out.
Do it.
This should be Gareth Southgate's England team. I've just been accused of being a hipster, which is grossly incorrect. I believe that this team does very well in a World Cup, and I'm going to talk you through every single area and where the thinking comes from. Okay. So that back five, I think Trippier at left wing back, mainly because I think he can play out there, played out there very successfully for Atletico Madrid. Tomori, I don't know how he isn't in your teams. I think he's probably the outstanding centre-back that England have that's playing every single week in Europe. Maguire obviously isn't, but Maguire always cooks for England. And I think in that back three where you've got someone a little more expansive in Stones, you've got someone more athletic in Tomori, when those balls are coming into the box from USA, from Iran, from Wales, Maguire is going to dominate in the air because that is his skill set. And I think Southgate plays to that skill set very, very well. And I always say it, but you have to protect Pickford. I think he's a good keeper for England. But if you're in a World Cup semi, and we have seen it, I don't know how clutch he is in that situation. Trent has to play. Obviously, James is injured. Would I swap Trent?
Why does Trent have to play?
Why does he have to play?
Well,
You're playing a right back at left back here.
Hey. There is method to the madness. Okay. I think Trent is one of these players that in this system, England are going to require creativity. And I think one thing England have struggled with when Southgate plays his back five is the ball gets into wide areas, Kane drops into the hole, into that number 10 position, and you're praying that someone gets in the box. So often England get the ball wide and you're asking questions as to where the ball's going to go. Trent, with the ability to actually play between the lines and not just whip crosses into the box, maybe like a Reece James, allows you to then have Maddison in the 10. And Rice obviously on his own, mainly because Calvin Phillips isn't fit, hasn't played a minute this season. And I think Maddison has to play. He's been unbelievable this season. And in coaching, they always say you should play a 6 and a 4. And the problem with England is you play Calvin Phillips and it's always a 7 and a 3. So what happens is England end up stuck in their own half, trying to find ways to get forward. Rice isn't your guy who's going to ping diags. Calvin does to an extent, but he doesn't really play defence-piercing diags. Then you have Grealish, who I actually think has played well this season for City. I know it's an unpopular opinion because he said a few things about Miggy Almiron, who's having a great season. Output-wise, he hasn't been outstanding. But in terms of someone who can keep the ball for you, allow Trippier to go around you, allow Maddison to come and play in the hole, and allow Kane to do his stuff, this is the team, man.
Right, okay, problems. First of all, Phil Foden's not in this team.
Yeah, but
you've put James Maddison before the tactical problems. You've put James Maddison in the team before you've put a right back at left back before Foden as well.
I mean, the right back and left back situation. Diego Simeone, who is a football manager, might I add, he played Trippier at left back for a long period, and it's also to accommodate the fact that we've got Trent on the other side. And Maddison, I think with England, it's really easy to play against because they don't have, I don't want to say an agent of chaos, but someone who has a mind of his own. And Maddison has a mind of his own. He'll shoot whenever he wants. He'll play passes between the lines whenever he wants. He can get into the box. That's not his.
Could Grealish not do that?
I don't think, not now. I think when he was at Villa, yes, he could.
You think he's been coached out?
But yeah, I think at the moment you see, like, when he picks the ball up, he's even said it himself, actually. I think he said, like, Pep's taught me to be more grounded when I pick the ball up rather than floating everywhere. And I think in this, Southgate won't be able to say to Grealish, go and play in the 10 for me now. Because Grealish is going, I haven't done that for a minute.
But you literally haven't answered. Why is there no Foden?
Yeah.
Well, I just think Grealish for me, for England, is a better player. I do love Foden, but I don't think Foden can do Maddison's role in this system if that's where you think you'd put him. Because I don't think we've seen Foden play as a 10 for City very often. I think he's played there 2 or 3 times. And for what I want from my number 10 in this team, Foden isn't that guy. Foden can definitely glue the midfield together and the attack together, but that's not what I want Maddison there for.
My problem with this team is a couple of things. I think Dyer has to be in this team. Has to be. That's one thing.
But he's got a good shout for Tomori, though.
Yeah, but then, and I get you having people to head the ball out, but then I would swap Dyer with Maguire.
I don't oppose that.
Okay, Trippier on the left-hand side, I think I get it in terms of just trying to get him in, but probably not to that extent. I don't think I put him on the left-hand side. The other thing, tactically, I'm struggling with is width and someone running past Kane. I feel like a team with a low block, Grealish cuts inside and gets in Maddison's way. Maddison gets in Kane's way, and you've got right-sided players going to come inside all the time on the left-hand side. There's no width.
So this is where my counter-argument would be that in a similar way to how Arsenal play a little bit, Zinchenko, and the same for City actually, the left side comes in and the right side goes out. I think in this situation you have Trippier and I think Maddison does a brilliant job of drifting left and right, and that's where I think maybe you could see an interchange with Grealish, although I really think that is absolutely coached out of Grealish. Saka can come inside, Trent gives you the width, and I think you rely on him as the width.
But he never gets to the byline. You've got no one getting past Kane.
I don't think that's necessary.
Okay. Okay.
Maddison's doing bits. I'm putting it out there. Gareth, give me this team so I can prove people.
Let's leave this one to the comments then. Who had the best team and what's your team? Let us know in the comments down below.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.